I opened a fake girlfriend business because I couldn't afford rent. 3 months later, the richest girl in my city was begging me to stop pretending. Okay, let me explain because that sounds completely insane. Have you ever looked at your bank account and genuinely wondered if it was making fun of you? Because mine had exactly $23.16 left in it. $23. Not $23,000. Not even $200. Just enough to buy a decent pizza if I ignored the delivery fee. And somehow, that same week, my landlord thought it was the perfect time to remind me that rent was due. Life has a really twisted sense of humor. My name is Wren Blake, and at 22 years old, I was balancing college classes, a part-time cafe job, and the constant fear that one unexpected bill would completely ruin my life. But believe it or not, being broke wasn't even the worst part. The worst part was watching my dad blame himself every single day. Growing up, my family wasn't rich, but we were comfortable. My dad owned a construction company that had been in our family for years. We had a nice house, 2 cars in the driveway, and every birthday felt like something out of a movie. Then everything fell apart. One bad investment became another. The company went bankrupt. Debt collectors started showing up. The house was sold. My parents divorced 6 months later. I don't remember the exact day everything changed. I just remember coming home from school one afternoon and seeing my dad sitting alone in an empty living room because the movers had already taken half our furniture. I've never forgotten that look on his face. After that, it was just the 2 of us. Dad tried his best to act like everything was okay. It wasn't. He picked up whatever jobs he could find, but rebuilding a life from nothing isn't as easy as motivational speakers make it sound. Money became something we counted instead of spent. Some weeks we'd celebrate because we had enough to buy actual meat instead of instant noodles. Other weeks, well, let's just say instant noodles became surprisingly versatile. Now I was 22, a business major, working part-time at Bean and Bloom Cafe while trying to graduate with decent grades. I kept telling myself that one day I'd become successful enough to give my dad the life he deserved again. That dream was the only thing keeping me going. Unfortunately, dreams don't pay rent. Wren. I hadn't even finished tying my apron before my manager yelled across the cafe, "Table 4's been waiting for 5 minutes." I blinked. I literally just walked in. "And you're literally already late," I sighed dramatically. This place would collapse without me. A familiar laugh came from behind the espresso machine. "You've been saying that for 2 years. I looked over and grinned. My biggest supporter, Zoe Park, rolled her eyes while steaming milk. My biggest headache. Zoe and I had been best friends since freshman year. She was the kind of person who could build an entire app overnight, but somehow forgot where she'd left her phone at least 3 times a day. Computer science genius. Social disaster. Honestly, it balanced out. The lunch rush hit us like a train. Coffee, sandwiches, extra caramel, no foam, oat milk, almond milk. One customer actually asked me if our coffee beans were emotionally sourced. To this day, I still don't know what that means. By the time the cafe finally quieted down, I leaned against the counter and stretched my aching back. Zoe handed me an iced coffee. "You look like you're about to file for workers' compensation. I've seen things today." "Oh," a woman yelled at me because her croissant wasn't smiling. "You're joking. I wish." Zoe laughed so hard she nearly dropped a cup. "You attract the weirdest customers." Before I could answer, the little bell above the cafe door chimed. Almost everyone inside looked up. Not because of who walked in, but because expensive people have this weird ability to make everyone notice them. 3 girls stepped inside wearing outfits that probably cost more than my entire apartment. Perfect hair, designer handbags, shoes so white they looked illegal. One of them immediately caught my attention. She had long honey blonde hair that fell over one shoulder, effortless confidence, and the kind of smile magazines loved putting on their covers. She laughed at something her friend whispered. I don't know why, but for a second the whole cafe felt brighter. Zoe followed my gaze. "Oh," I blinked. "Oh what? That's the face." "What face?" "The wow, she's gorgeous face." I was not making a face. "Wren, I wasn't. You've been staring for 10 seconds. "I have not." She pointed toward my hand. "You're pouring iced coffee onto the counter." I looked down. "Oh, oops." I quickly set the cup upright while Zoe burst into laughter. "I hate you." "No, you don't. I strongly dislike you for the next 30 seconds. "Fair." The blonde girl and her friends found a table near the window. I tried very hard not to look again. I failed almost immediately. "Who's she?" I asked, pretending I wasn't interested. "Scarlett Hayes? Never heard of her." "Liar." "I genuinely haven't. She's kind of famous." "For what?" Fashion influencer, rich parents, millions of followers. Half the girls on campus either want to date her or be her. Makes sense? She definitely looked like someone people wrote poetry about. I forced myself to get back to work. Then the cafe door opened again. This time nobody turned because of designer clothes. They turned because everyone recognized the last name. Carter. Luna Carter. Unlike Scarlett, Luna didn't make an entrance. She wore a simple cream sweater, faded blue jeans, and white sneakers. No flashy jewelry, no designer logos, no bodyguards. Just a relaxed smile as she held the door open for an elderly couple entering behind her. She thanked them when they smiled back. Then she walked to the counter like she was any other student, which was funny because she absolutely wasn't. The Carter family practically owned half the city. Hotels, real estate, charities, investment firms. If there was a ribbon-cutting ceremony somewhere, odds were a Carter was holding the scissors. Yet Luna never acted like she was better than anyone. She greeted the barista by name, asked how her day was going, even tipped before she'd received her drink. I watched the interaction for a second before shaking my head. Money really did look different on different people. Some wore it, others never needed to. I grabbed my tray and headed toward table 6. I had no idea that the girl quietly waiting for her iced latte was about to turn my entire life upside down. And somehow, it would all begin with one simple question. Wren, do you know how to drive? For a second, I just stared at the voice. It belonged to Reed Harrison, one of those rich business students everyone on campus seemed to know. We weren't friends, but we'd crossed paths enough times for him to remember my name. I blinked. Yeah, actually drive? I folded my arms. I know that's a shocking concept for someone who owns 3 luxury cars, but yes, I have a driver's license. He chuckled. Good. He glanced toward the window where Luna was scrolling absent-mindedly through her phone. I need a huge favor. I followed his gaze. My cousin was supposed to come with me to the Carter Foundation Gala tonight, but I just got called into a meeting with my dad. I promised my aunt someone would take Luna. Okay? I need someone to drive her. Me? I'll pay you. Well, that changed things. How much? He named an amount that nearly made me choke on air. For driving? And staying with her during the event. I looked at him suspiciously. Are you secretly asking me to join a cult? He laughed. No. Sell a kidney? No. Commit tax fraud? Wren, I'm just making sure. It's literally one evening. I looked toward Luna again. She still hadn't looked up from her phone. She didn't seem excited. Actually, she looked bored. I don't know. Reed sighed dramatically. Please, everyone else either said no or already had plans. So I'm the last option? The best option, liar. The available option. That's more honest. He smiled. So? I thought about my landlord, the unpaid electricity bill sitting on our kitchen counter. Dad pretending he wasn't worried. Then I looked back at Reed. Fine. He let out the biggest sigh of relief. You're a lifesaver. I haven't agreed until the money hits my account. It will. 5 minutes later, my shift was over. Reed walked me outside where a sleek black Mercedes waited by the curb. I don't even think I'd ever stood this car that expensive. I was afraid breathing near it would leave fingerprints. Luna was already waiting beside it. She looked up as we approached. Cousin, sorry, Reed said, rubbing the back of his neck. Something came up, I guessed. But don't worry, he pointed at me. Wren's taking you. Her eyes moved toward mine. For the first time, she actually looked at me, not through me, at me. She smiled politely. Hi. This is really last minute. Apparently. I'm Luna. I know. The words escaped before I could stop them. Smooth, Wren. Real smooth. She raised an eyebrow. You know me. I scratched the back of my neck. Everyone knows who the Carters are. Oh. There wasn't even a hint of arrogance in her expression. If anything, she looked slightly embarrassed. Well, she smiled again. It's nice to officially meet you. Why was she so normal? Reed tossed me the keys. I stared at them. You're trusting me with this. You said you could drive. I can. Then we're good. I looked down at the Mercedes key sitting in my palm. This key alone probably cost more than my laptop. No pressure. Reed laughed before climbing into another waiting vehicle. I owe you one, Wren. With that, he disappeared, leaving me alone with Luna. For a few awkward seconds, neither of us moved. Finally, Luna broke the silence. So, she pointed toward the driver's seat. I'd rather not crash tonight. Oh, right, driving. I hurried around the car before embarrassing myself even more. The inside smelled like expensive leather. I didn't even know leather had different smells until that moment. Luna settled into the passenger seat while I carefully adjusted the mirrors. "You can relax," she said. "You look terrified. I'm driving something that probably costs more than my future." She laughed. A real laugh. Soft, warm. "You'll be fine." Easy for her to say. If I scratched this thing, I'd probably have to sell one of my organs. I started the engine. The car purred so quietly, I almost thought it wasn't on. "Wow. What? I've only ever driven my dad's old pickup. This is different? This feels like driving a spaceship." She giggled. I've never heard anyone describe a Mercedes like that. I'm being serious, I know. As we pulled onto the road, silence settled between us. Not awkward, just quiet. A few minutes later, Luna rested her head against the window. "Can I ask you something?" "Sure, if you had the choice." She looked out at the passing city lights. "Would you skip tonight?" I frowned. "The gala?" She nodded. In a heartbeat. That surprised me. Really, they're exhausting. But it's a charity gala. It's also 300 rich people pretending they're having the best night of their lives. I glanced at her. "You don't like those kinds of parties?" She laughed under her breath. "Everyone spends more time taking pictures than actually talking." "I already know exactly how tonight will go." She started counting on her fingers. "Someone will brag about their yacht. Someone else will pretend they discovered world peace because they donated 5,000 lars. Half the guests will post the exact same caption on Instagram. And by dessert," she sighed dramatically, "I'll be wishing I'd stayed home watching bad reality TV." I couldn't help smiling. That's oddly specific. Because it's true. She looked at me hopefully. "So, what? Can we skip it?" I blinked. "What? Please?" She clasped her hands together dramatically. "We could go get burgers. Or milkshakes. Or literally anything else." I stared at her, then burst out laughing. "Luna." "What? You're paying me. I know. My job is to take you to the gala. I'll still pay you." "No." She groaned loudly. "You're no fun. I'm responsible. Same thing." "It is not." She folded her arms and pouted like an annoyed child. "You know, I was hoping you'd be the rebellious type. I like paying rent." "That's disappointingly mature. I get that a lot." She stared at me for another second before laughing again. "Fine. You win. We're going." I smiled to myself as I focused back on the road. For some reason, talking to Luna felt easy. Like we'd known each other a lot longer than the 20 minutes we'd actually spent together. At the time, I thought that was the only thing unusual about that night. I had absolutely no idea. The real chaos hadn't even started yet. The Carter Foundation Grand Hotel came into view about 20 minutes later. I almost missed the entrance because I was too busy staring at the building itself. "That's a hotel?" Luna looked up from her phone. "You've never been here? I thought this place was photoshopped every time I saw it online." She laughed. "Nope, it's real." The driveway curved around a massive fountain lit with golden lights, and luxury cars lined up one after another. Valets rushed from vehicle to vehicle, while photographers snapped pictures of every wealthy family stepping onto the red carpet. I slowly pulled the Mercedes to a stop. A valet immediately hurried over and opened Luna's door before I even had time to unbuckle my seatbelt. "Good evening, Miss Carter." She smiled politely. "Thank you." Meanwhile, I was still trying to figure out how to open my own door without looking awkward. Luna noticed. "Do you need help?" I've never had someone open a car door for me before. She covered her mouth to hide a laugh. "You'll get used to it. I sincerely hope I never do." That made her laugh properly. The valet looked completely confused. Apparently, billionaire heiresses weren't supposed to laugh before entering charity galas. We walked toward the entrance together. Almost immediately, cameras started flashing. "Luna, this way! Miss Carter!" She kept smiling politely while quietly whispering to me out of the corner of her mouth. Rule number 1. Never look directly at the cameras. Why? Because then they'll never stop. That's terrifying. It is. I kept my eyes glued to the giant glass doors instead. Inside, everything sparkled. Crystal chandeliers hung from the ceiling. A live orchestra played near the ballroom. Waiters walked around carrying trays of tiny appetizers that looked too expensive to actually taste good. Everywhere I looked, people were talking, laughing, taking selfies, posing, posting, exactly like Luna had predicted. I leaned a little closer. "You were right." She smirked. "Told you." A woman interrupted us. "Luna, darling!" An elegant woman in a silver gown hugged Luna before noticing me. "And who's this lovely young woman?" Before I could answer, Luna smiled. "This is Wren, my date for tonight." I nearly inhaled my own tongue. Date. She didn't even warn me, the woman beamed. Oh, how wonderful. It's about time you brought someone. I forced the biggest smile I could manage. Nice to meet you. As soon as the woman walked away, I looked at Luna. Your date? She shrugged innocently. It was easier than explaining. You could have warned me. I wanted your reaction. You're evil. A little. I knew it. She grinned. For someone who claimed to hate these events, she looked suspiciously entertained now. For the next hour, we wandered through the ballroom pretending we belonged there together. Well, Luna belonged. I just tried not to touch anything expensive. She introduced me to relatives whose names I forgot within 5 seconds. Old family friends, business partners, people who all seemed fascinated by one question. So, Wren, what does your family do? I learned very quickly that rich people loved asking that. My dad works in construction. Technically, that wasn't a lie. I just conveniently left out the part where construction currently meant repairing people's fences. Luna caught my eye but didn't expose me. Instead, she smoothly changed the subject every single time. I silently thanked her. Eventually, the orchestra switched to slower music. Couples drifted toward the dance floor. Oh no, I muttered. Luna looked at me. What? They're dancing. Yes. Please tell me you're not about to ask me. She tilted her head. Wren, you're my date. Right. So, she held out her hand. Dance with me. I stared at her hand. I should warn you. I'm terrible. So am I. Really? No. You're enjoying this. A little. I sighed dramatically before taking her hand. If I step on your foot, I'll survive. We walked onto the dance floor. Thankfully, the music wasn't too slow. It was more of a relaxed swing. Luna followed my awkward lead surprisingly well. Or maybe she was the one leading me. I honestly couldn't tell. You know, she said, you look less nervous now. I've accepted my fate. What fate? If I embarrass myself, at least these rich people will have something interesting to talk about. She laughed. I like you. The words caught me off guard. What? I said I like you. Oh, as a person. She smiled mischievously. You panicked. I did not. You absolutely did. I was processing, sure. For the first time that evening, I forgot I was being paid. It almost felt like we were two normal girls enjoying a dance. Then, someone bumped into my shoulder. I'm so sorry. It's okay. I turned and completely forgot how to breathe. Standing a few feet away, laughing with a group of friends, was the most beautiful woman I'd ever seen. Scarlet Hayes. Except, she somehow looked even prettier than she had at the café. Her golden dress shimmered beneath the ballroom lights. She tucked a loose strand of hair behind her ear while smiling at something one of her friends had said. I wasn't staring. Okay, maybe I was. Wren? Ma'am? Luna's voice pulled me back 2 seconds. Then Scarlet laughed again. Without thinking, my eyes wandered back. Luna followed my gaze. She didn't have to ask who I was looking at. She's beautiful. I nodded before my brain caught up. Wait, I looked back at Luna. What? She just smiled. Nothing. No, seriously, you have good taste. I felt my cheeks heat up. I wasn't. You were. I was just looking. Maybe. She laughed softly. I'm not judging you. I rubbed the back of my neck. This is embarrassing. A little. Please stop smiling. I can't. Before I could defend myself. Scarlett's eyes met mine. For one brief second. She smiled. Actually smiled at me. My heart did something incredibly stupid. Did she just... Careful. Luna's voice came a split second too late. Because I was so distracted, I stepped directly onto her foot. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Luna stumbled slightly before catching herself. It's okay. No, I literally crushed your foot. I'm fine. You don't look fine. She winced dramatically. I think. She leaned against me. I twisted my ankle. My stomach dropped. Oh no, it's all right. No, it's not. I can walk. You can barely stand. She gave me a tiny smile. Maybe we should go home. I nodded immediately. Yeah, I'll get the car. As I hurried toward the valet, I couldn't stop apologizing. The entire drive back, I felt awful. I'm so sorry. Wren, I wasn't paying attention. Wren, I swear I wasn't trying to. Wren, what? You're apologizing more than my ankle hurts. I sighed. I still feel bad. She looked out the window, hiding a small smile. It's okay. By the time we reached her family's estate, she thanked me again for the evening. I actually had fun. Really? I did. Even after I almost broke your foot? Even then, I smiled. Good. She climbed out of the car. Then, without thinking, She walked perfectly normally toward the front door. I blinked. Wait, no limp, no hesitation. Nothing. Luna! She froze, slowly turned around. Our eyes met across the driveway. Your ankle. She looked down, then back at me. Oops, you faked it? She bit the inside of her cheek, trying not to laugh. Maybe. I couldn't believe it. You made me feel guilty for 30 minutes. I was trying to escape the party. You little. I said I was sorry. No, you smiled. I did. I stared at her for another second. Then, against my better judgment, I started laughing. She laughed too. The sound echoed through the quiet night. You are unbelievable. So I've been told. I shook my head as she waved goodbye and disappeared inside the mansion. Still smiling, I climbed back into the Mercedes to return it to Reed. On the drive home, my mind replayed the evening. Not the mansion, not the rich guests, not even Scarlett. It was one thought that refused to leave me alone. People actually paid strangers to pretend to smile, pretend to be happy, pretend to belong. Then another thought hit me so hard I almost missed a red light. Hold on. I sat up straighter. What if? I laughed to myself. No way. The idea sounded completely ridiculous, absolutely insane, which was probably why I couldn't stop thinking about it. What if people paid someone to pretend to be their girlfriend? By the time I got home, I wasn't thinking about how crazy the idea was anymore. I was wondering one thing, could it actually work? I wish I could tell you I went home, got some sleep, woke up with a brilliant business plan, and immediately became a successful entrepreneur. Yeah, that's not what happened. I got home at almost 11 that night, quietly slipped off my shoes, and found Dad asleep on the couch with the TV still on. One of those late-night cooking shows was playing. The host was making a 5-star steak dinner. Meanwhile, our fridge contained exactly 1 carton of milk, half a loaf of bread, and enough ketchup packets to open a small restaurant. I smiled to myself. Dad always pretended he wasn't waiting up for me. He always lost that battle. Carefully, I draped a blanket over him before heading to my room. I should have gone to bed. Instead, I opened my laptop. I typed exactly 4 words into the search bar. Rent a girlfriend. Thousands of results appeared. Japan, Korea, apps, companies, professional companions. I blinked. Wait, this already exists? I clicked through website after website. Some people hired fake partners for weddings. Others needed someone to meet their parents. Some just didn't want to show up to events alone. The more I read, the more my brain refused to calm down. What if? I whispered to myself. What if I made one for college students? Before I knew it, I was grabbing a notebook from my desk. Page after page filled with ideas. Fake girlfriend, study partner, family dinners, work events, jealous exes, wedding +1. By 2 a.m, my desk looked like a crime investigation. Sticky notes everywhere. Coffee cups. Terrible stick figure drawings that were supposed to be business diagrams. I finally leaned back in my chair. This is either genius. I looked around the room, or I've completely lost my mind. The next morning, I practically sprinted into Bean and Bloom Cafe. Wren! Linda's voice echoed across the shop. You're late. I know. Do you have an excuse? I think I invented a business. She blinked. That's a new one? I'll explain later. No, you won't. Probably not. I rushed behind the counter where Zoe was organizing pastries. She took one look at my face. Oh no. What? You've had an idea. Maybe. Wren. It's a really good idea. The last really good idea ended with us trying to sell homemade candles. They smelled amazing. They smelled like burnt marshmallows. People like marshmallows. They caught fire. Only twice. She sighed. I'm scared. You should be excited. I'm never excited when you smile like that. The lunch rush hadn't started yet, so I dragged her into the tiny employee break room. She crossed her arms. You have exactly 5 minutes before Linda starts screaming. I slammed my notebook onto the table. So, she looked down. Why does it say fake girlfriend business in giant letters? I can explain. I sincerely hope so. I took a deep breath. People pay strangers to pretend. Okay. I saw it online. Still okay. So, I flipped through my messy notes. What if we created an app where people could hire someone to pretend to be their girlfriend? Zoe stared at me. I stared back. Finally, she spoke. Wren, yeah? That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. My shoulders dropped. I knew you'd say that. It's also kind of brilliant. I shot upright. Wait, I know. You like it? I hate how much I like it. I threw both hands into the air. I knew it. Calm down. No, this cafe has walls. I have vision, Zoe. She burst into laughter. You are unbelievable. I prefer future millionaire. We haven't even built the app. We will. She rubbed her chin thoughtfully. You know, the coding actually wouldn't be that difficult. I gasped dramatically. You're thinking about it? I am. You love it. I hate that I love it. So, I leaned across the table. You'll help me? She looked at me for a long moment, then smiled. You've been my best friend for 4 years. Yeah, if this business crashes and burns, I at least want front row seats. I laughed so hard I nearly knocked over my coffee. Deal. For the next month, our lives became one long cycle of classes, work, homework, and building what was probably the weirdest startup in college history. Zoe handled every line of code. I handled everything else. The logo, the pricing, the contracts, safety rules, verification, emergency contacts. We argued over the name for almost 3 hours. Rent my girlfriend. No. Borrow girlfriend. No. Temporary love. Absolutely not. She groaned. Why are you so bad at naming things? I am a creative visionary. You wanted to call the app Girly Mac Girlfriend. It was a working title. It was a crime. Eventually, we settled on something simple, heart match. People weren't paying for romance. They were paying for companionship, for confidence, for one night of not feeling alone. When the app was finally ready, Zoe hit one button. Congratulations. What? We're officially live. I stared at the screen. Nothing happened. 1 minute passed. Then 5. Then 10, I sighed. I think we failed. Zoe shrugged. It's only been... Ding. Both of us froze. A notification popped onto the screen. New booking request. Neither of us breathed. Open it, Zoe whispered. My hands were shaking. I clicked. The request was from a nervous freshman who wanted a fake girlfriend for her cousin's engagement party because her entire family wouldn't stop asking why she was still single. I looked at Zoe. She looked at me. Then we both screamed. We got one. No way. Oh my gosh. Linda burst into the break room. What is wrong with you two? I pointed at my laptop. My business. She looked completely confused. Should I be concerned? Probably. Over the next few weeks, 1 booking turned into 3. 3 became 10, then 20. Before I realized it, my weekends were completely booked. One girl hired me to make her ex jealous at a concert. Another just wanted someone to survive a painfully awkward family reunion with. One woman asked me to accompany her to a charity auction because her coworkers kept assuming she was lonely. Every job was different, every client had a story, and every payment brought me one step closer to the future I'd been dreaming about. For the first time in years, I wasn't just surviving. I was finally getting ahead. Then, one Tuesday morning, while I was wiping down tables before class, my phone buzzed with a new booking notification. I smiled to myself. Another client already? I unlocked my phone and opened the app. The smile slowly disappeared. Client name, Luna Carter. I blinked once, then twice. A what? Of all the people in the city, why was the billionaire heiress booking me? And more importantly, what could she possibly need a fake girlfriend for this time? I spent the next 5 minutes staring at my phone like it had personally offended me. Client name, Luna Carter. No, I refreshed the app. Same name. I closed it, opened it again, still Luna Carter. Zoe glanced up from her laptop. Why do you look like you just saw a ghost? I slowly turned my phone toward her. Explain this. She adjusted her glasses. Is that Luna Carter? The Luna Carter? The billionaire? The billionaire. Interesting. Interesting. I nearly laughed. She's rich enough to buy this cafe if she wanted to. So why is she hiring me? Zoe shrugged. Maybe she liked you. I looked at her. As a fake girlfriend. She grinned. I know what I said. Oh, you're hilarious. I really am. My phone buzzed again. The client had sent a message. Can we meet today? I'd rather explain in person. I read it twice, then a third time. Finally, I sighed. I guess I'm going. Does the billionaire daughter want for my fake girlfriend service? Wow, this sounds dangerous. Hey guys, it's Yuri, and that's the end of today's episode. I really hope you enjoyed this story as much as I enjoyed writing it for you. First of all, I'm so sorry I haven't posted in a while. School has been keeping me super busy because I'm currently in my final year. Please wish me luck. I really need all the prayers and support I can get. Thank you so much for watching today's story. If you loved it, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Leave a beautiful comment. What do you think Luna needs a fake girlfriend service for? I read your comments all the time, and they honestly motivate me to keep writing these stories for you. Trust me, this series is going to get hot. I mean, the drama, romance, and emotions are only getting better from here. Episode 2 will be dropping this Tuesday, so make sure your notifications are turned on so you don't miss it. And if you're new here, welcome to the family. I'm Yuri, and I write original GL romance stories filled with drama, slow burns, cute moments, and happy endings. Feel free to check out my channel. You'll find lots of other stories I'm sure you'll love. Thank you all so much for your incredible support. It truly means the world to me. I'll see you guys in episode 2. Until then, take care, stay safe, and keep spreading love. Bye, everyone.